Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights and information or simply learning from them. And today we have got Swire Ho coming live from Los Angeles, California, USA. He's an entrepreneur, a promotional products, marketing and branding expert. And today we'll be talking on marketing for businesses, especially small businesses, and how they can succeed in whatever they are doing. Welcome to the show, Swire. Welcome.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Most welcome. So, firstly, I'll just ask you about, you are known as the promo guy in the circles that you move in, your businesses, your clients. So, why do they call you the promo guy? I know you are very good at promotional products, but exactly why do they call you the promo guy?
Oh, thank you, Ajay. So it actually starts from my name. My name, if you see it on the screen, is not hard to pronounce. But when people first heard the name Swire, they couldn't pronounce it. So when sometimes customer call or prospect call back, they say, "I want to speak to," and then they stop. So instead, I create a hashtag for myself called the promo guy. It's related to the product and industry that I'm in. So, and if you actually Google my name in the exact phrase, Swire Ho hashtag the promo guy, you'll see all the product and all the articles that I've been on. So it's actually a branding process for myself. So if you do the exact phrase, there's only one person that I know of that used Swire Ho hashtag the promo guy. So, this is one of the branding strategies that I've actually used on myself.
And it's a great branding strategy. But tell me, how did it work well for you?
I think so. It's catchy. Even when people can't remember my name, they do remember speaking to the promo guy.
Okay. So we will take a lot of tips from you for in terms of promotions and branding and marketing for small businesses. Eswar, what do you have to share in terms of how they can increase their brand loyalty, brand awareness, and what promotional products they should actually be relying on? Because India, as you can see, it's a lot of startups are coming up. A lot of young people are into getting, and there are lots and hundreds of small businesses, especially MSMEs. So that's why huge numbers, and they could do well with your tips.
I think the first question that I want to point out before we even going down to the marketing strategy is, I'll encourage everyone to think about and ask yourself this question: who are your ideal customers? A lot of people, when they think about marketing, they want to do, when you want to market, I want to market to everyone. I want you to never say you want to market everyone, because if you're marketing to everyone, you're actually talking to no one. And none of us really, especially if we are talking about small business, have the budget or have the know-how to target everybody. Even the biggest company out there, they know exactly who they target. You see, luxury brand, they have ads in welfare neighborhood. You see fast food in different type of neighborhood, or vice versa. So by answering this question, who do I serve best? Who is most likely to respond to my product? So filter down the search. Maybe it's a geographic location. Maybe it's a certain people that will likely use your product. Then you can identify who your ideal clients are. And these are the people who you are going after, and not everyone else.
Okay. So is it the same for online as well as offline?
Yeah, especially if you're online, you can really, for example, you pick Google, you can actually pick what income level they are, where geographical area they are, what kind of searches they have done. So the more that you can know about your target audience. So for example, if they visit your webpage, or if they visit your competitor's webpage, and then you target them instead of just wandering everywhere and they may not have used your product, then you're really wasting your money. So online and offline, you do have to answer this question, who your ideal clients are.
So, okay. So what are promotional products which are, which one can avail online, and they can, use them to boost their small business as such? Because how would they differentiate between an advertisement, general sort of a marketing campaign here and there, and promotional products. Because you are the promo guy, you are an expert on the promotional products part. What are the few things that they can use in terms of promotions?
Well, you have to think about, because we all have a brand that we like. If I say coffee, you already have a brand in mind. If I say car, then we already have a brand in mind. You wanted to position yourself as the go-to expert and then the go-to company that when people think about your industry. How do you do that? Is by creating, different content, is to be able to brand yourself. So when people think about fast food, we have already in mind. When we say about fitness, then we have something else in mind. So, there are ways to use in promotional product that when you see the color of a certain brand, when you see the red in Coca-Cola, wherever you are in the world, then it's Coca-Cola. So they actually brand that red called Coca-Cola Red. So there are different ways visually, tangibly, you could brand yourself and your company. So once you identify who you're targeting, then the next question that you want to ask yourself is, what kind of magazines do they read? What kind of website do they read? What kind of social media platform, or where would they hang out online? And once you answer those questions, and that's where you want to be.
Okay. So your first tip is that identify your target audience, know your buyer persona, if that's right.
That's correct, huh?
And the second is that go to places where your customers visit online.
Yeah, I think that sounds easy, but then again, if you're going with everyone a post, then you'll be too busy, right? There are so many platforms out there, right? That we can spend the whole day on. Then you are, spending too much time in marketing, and you don't really have time focusing on your business. Focus on 1 to 2 if you're a small business to start. If you identify that they're all on LinkedIn, that's where you want to be. If you expect all of them to be on Facebook, that's where you want to be, or whatever platform that works for you. Or maybe they only hang out at the local coffee shop. That's where you want to go. So these are questions that can really help you narrow down your search for identify the ideal client. So, these are some exercises. There's no right or wrong, but, won't you want to be where your customers are all day long if you know that they're going to hang out there? It digitally, in person, they are the same.
So promotion products and promotions, they cost some money. So how do they do the budgeting for that? It's a tricky part. They're small business. They have to make sure they are visible. They have to also make sure that they are competitive enough. At the same time, they have very limited budget. How do you balance that?
Well, that's a really good question. And, even though I'm in the promotional product industry, I'll actually get on the record on your show to say that if you're on a budget, you don't have to buy promotional product. You might need a website, you might need a marketing plan, or you might need your accountant. But then if you're on a budget, you don't have to get promotional product. The only way that you wanted to be able to succeed and getting your return on investment on promotional product is when you do it right. You don't want to buy things cheap, right? If you buy things cheap, going back to what we just talked about, the branding message. Do you want to be known for a brand that hand out cheap item? Or do you want to be the brand that when you are ready, that you actually handing out gift that your target audience will want to receive? All of us have a cell phone, right? We all have a social media platform. If we see something that we like, what we do, we'll take a picture and then we share it to our social media. If you send them a gift that is really related to them, they're really happy. They're going to take pictures with your company's name on that item, and then they will post it on the social media. If I'm giving you something that really cheap, because I'm on a budget, then you never share. You probably put it into the trash. So again, if you're on a budget, you don't have to do promotional product. But if you're thinking about doing promotional product, you have to do it right. You have to plan for it.
So promotional, do you mean that giveaways, are they promotional products? A lot of people do giveaways on social media and even on their website to get visitors, some sort of a traffic.
Yeah, you do, but then you have to plan for it because, for example, I've seen promotion that you are going on there to say, let's say you're spending $50, right? but then they have a promotion. If you spend $100 today, we'll give you that free extra gifts to go along. So then,
Okay.
we actually go in and we buy more stuff so that we can get that gift. So then think about that strategy. They're not really giving you that gift. You're actually spending more money, but then in our mind, we want to win, right? We always want to win prizes. We wanted to fill out a survey and then we get a gift card. So these are some of the strategy, and they're, when you think about on the back end, they're actually not giving it to everyone. They want something in return, and then they will give you this item as a reward. So think about this like a campaign. And the last thing that I would suggest everyone listening to do is just put your logo on a lot of things and just giving it to
Okay.
everyone that walks by the door. So that goes again with targeting everyone instead of your ideal client.
Okay. Okay. So, target audience, go to where your customers go, and the best is use your logo everywhere.
Not everywhere. You don't want to be, you don't want your logo to be seen everywhere. Again, going back to what your mission statement are, are you striving for example, eco-friendly? Then, your product got to be in line with eco-friendly. Or if you are going for, a unique experience. So the product that you have is got to go along those lines. You don't want to, a pen is easy, right? You can do a pen every day, every single day. It's cost effective.
Okay.
But not a lot of people will connect with a pen. We all have a basket full of pens in our drawers, and who needs another pen really? But then at the right moment, at the right time, a pen can still be effective.
Okay. Okay. So I just wanted to ask India, a lot of small businesses are targeting outside customers. Mainly it's a lot for the US customers. Now there's very small businesses. They either go through Amazon, through other thing, Etsy. There are a lot of people are targeting Etsy. They also want customers to come directly to their websites. Everybody has a website now. They try to do it, or even Instagram or any other method. What is your advice to them, how best to be noticed by a customer in the US, especially
That,
for a small business?
that's a great question. And think about that. When we do online e-commerce store, we will try really hard. We go on marketing, we go on buying ads to acquire a new client, right? So we all know there's a cost to acquire a new client. But ask yourself, are you in touch with the customer after they purchase from you? How
Okay.
are you doing to retain that buying customer? A lot of
Okay.
businesses that I talk to, they're spending little to no budget on retaining a client. So imagine that someone already have purchased from you. Would it be
Okay.
easier for the same person to buy from you again? If you maintain that relationship, if you can figure out a way to keep them happy, to keep them come back again, then you spend less money, right, on the bottom line to actually have that same customer to order from you again and again and again. Or, if you go one step further, you can even ask that customer to see, do you know maybe a family or a friend that might
Okay.
be able to use our product and services? Would you be able to introduce us? And that's how you can utilize promotional product and other strategies to actually grow your customer base organically.
Okay. So the most important part then comes is the customer loyalty, or retention of your old customers, and they become your brand ambassadors. How do you build customer loyalty in a time like this when everybody is looking for better or a competitive price? I guess it's a lot everywhere. So in these times, they just want to, a lot of customers, I can say, want to have good product at a best price, and then they keep on looking for the best deals available. So how does a small business build brand loyalty among customers who are moving at a fast, looking at better prices all the time?
That's a great question, and obviously this is a topic that comes in discussion all the time. But do you really want to focus on price? That's what I'm asking you. If you, let's say you're selling an apparel
Okay.
product, if you are, let's say you look for a dinner, do you want to look for the cheapest restaurant that you could go to? Probably not.
Mhm.
You would probably say, even if you don't have a lot of money, I would like to go to the best restaurant that I can afford, right? This is a better
Right.
way to accept it. So don't focus on price. Think about how much value, how much, especially if you're in the apparel business, people want to wear something that makes them feel good. Or if they're buying a product, electronic product, they want that electronic product to help them do better, whatever that they're trying to do. So
Okay.
focus on that instead of beating down the bottom line, which is a never-ending game. There are always going to be someone going to be cheaper, bigger that get you out of production. But in small business, we have to be unique. We have to actually tell people our story. Why are we doing what we wanted to do? And how well do you know your customer? When they, ask yourself this, the last 10
Okay.
customer that
Okay.
purchased from you,
Okay.
have you actually reached out to them? Do you know if they're happy with your product or not? Getting
Okay.
the reviews, even by getting a review for, e-commerce website could make or break a company. I would never buy from a seller that has no review, but if I see like 500 reviews, yes, I'm buying from the vendor. Just things like that could even, break you away. Would you buy from a vendor that has no review that is cheaper than if you buy from a vendor that has 5,000 reviews that that has been in business and people like the product? How would you answer that?
Okay. Okay. Then my next question is around that only. A lot of people are concerned about their privacy. Internationally, it's more, and there are rights everywhere. For a small business, uh, you can send a request for a review, but how do you consistently reach out to your customers without invading their privacy in any manner and still be decent, look decent, business enough for them to engage with? How do you balance that out?
Well, again, I asked my customer, I asked them exactly the same question. How would you like to be contacted?
Okay.
There obviously there you have chance that they would say, I don't want to be contact. So you move them, you respect their privacy. But what if I tell you I want to receive your text? What if I want to say I want to do email only? How about if I say,
Okay.
call me now, I want to talk to you. So are you able to adapt and able to meet them where they are? So it goes back to the beginning again, meet them where they are. There are customers of mine that only do text. They don't respond to email and phone call. But when I text
Okay.
them, they respond right away. And there
Okay.
are
Okay.
some of my customers only available after 4 p.m. my time. So and that's the way that I'm able to reach them. So you really have to be flexible if you're, in small business, and really think about what's more convenient for your customer. And sometimes if you
Right.
answer that question, you actually solve a lot of the questions that we just talked about.
Okay. So basically, apart from the product, you customize your outreach also to each customer the way they want. Even if you are a small business, or it doesn't matter, you got to work smartly around this. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, even for the same message, right? If we're selling the same product, let's assume that we're on LinkedIn, right? The
Right.
way that we will post will be different if we post on Facebook or if we, kind of go live with our messages. So think about the different platform, who are using this platform. Then you can also learn from the feedback and the review from this post, how people are responding to your product and services.
Right. Right. Swire, you know a lot of, you talk about a lot of free resources that are available for small businesses. Can you share those important tips, especially for the small businesses, all the free resources that they can, make good use of, to promote their business?
Well, I think one way that I would suggest, if you are just starting or thinking about, you do wanted to know who your ideal client are, go to HubSpot. They actually have a free tool
Okay.
called Persona. You can actually fill out
Okay.
questions that they have. Drill down to the persona that is right for the product. What kind of title do they have?
Okay.
What gender, if related should they be in, or what income level should they be in? These are some of the questions that you should be able to answer. So, by first, I would say to develop a persona, and then set out a plan. You want to have plan, and you don't want it to act on things that in a hunch. That's why I'm saying
Right.
don't think of when you go to an event you have to have pen. You don't have to have pen. You gotta plan for it, but then you don't need to have item, like you said, if you maybe could not afford it. There are other ways to do it. And then at the end, uh, nothing beats a good check-in to your client. We're in the age that we receive a lot of email, we receive a lot of surveys, right, every day, and we tune out. And then I don't know if you agree with me, we receive a lot of calls, especially for me, that are robocall. There are
Okay.
computers or
Yeah.
browsers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hang up right away, not even
Right.
listen.
Yeah.
When a person,
Yeah. 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 In India also, it's coming up so hugely. You are almost fed up. You don't,
yeah,
and
I
then
hang up
it
right
keeps
away.
ringing. Right. 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 So that's so. Yeah. Carry on. Carry on, Swire.
But what if assuming you are a small business, I only have 5 clients, for example, right? I'm really
Okay.
small. What if you
Okay.
really maintain that good relationship with client? Don't you in your personal life want to do business with people that you like? You want to do business with people that knows about what you're going through. That's how you can get past the pricing standpoint. If
Okay.
all things being equal, all things being really bad, then I just pick the lowest price. But if I know that my contact person actually knows about what I'm going through, know my product, and know what I needed to do, then I'll listen to them as an advisor. Then you're going past that pricing standpoint and moving into, you can even charge more money. There are people,
Okay.
like experienced coaches, Tony Robbins, people pay a lot of money that, just to listen to him. There are coaches that don't charge you any money, even pay you to
Right.
be on the show
Right.
to
Right.
promote them. Which way do you want to go? So at some point, pricing doesn't become a concern, if you have able to develop the brand recognition and your authority.
Right. I think what you trying to say is that the human part, in spite of if it's offline, online, wherever it is, that will always play a big role in any customer relationship.
Even in digitally, in person, there's always going to be the human interaction. And then, as you were saying, we're fed up with, robocall. Why don't pick up the phone and just call your customer?
Okay, so you mean too much of using this computers and trying to reach out and bots, all these are not going to, because it's almost like a fad. Everybody is trying to adopt, and it's very easy. You get those free chat boxes and you use on your websites and everywhere, and you feel like you have become a high-tech business, and you want to give that impression of a successful and big business. But actually, is it going to work? It's not, isn't it? Because it's going to irritate your customers.
I think it's always good to get real feedback from customer. But if you send me a survey, I really don't pay attention after the second question, right? I just click and hit submit. But then if you let's say if you finish every job and then you call your customer to check in, are you happy with the product? First question, right? Then
Right.
shut up, be ready to listen, right? If they really point out things that they're not happy about, you have to take notes, right? You take notes,
Okay.
and if this is something that you can change or fix, do it right away. So people remember that. You might lose a customer if you don't respond, but if you actually respond to their concern and then you address their concern, they will keep using you because they know that when you deal with a big company, right? When you do a chat box, and it's never going to
Mhm.
get anywhere. When you call a
Right.
call center from a big company, they sound really nice, but then they're never going to do whatever that you're going to say you do. So be humanized, right? Even you can use technology, but then they want to feel like whatever method you're communicating with them, you really talk to the same person supposed to be behind that company. So that's the experience you wanted to push across.
Well, very nicely explained, Swire. Now, this was about your expertise, but you are beyond your expertise. You have got so much within you that you can share, and the best that can be shared is through the journey that you have undertaken in the last so many years, more than a decade. Uh, if I understand correctly, you were born and brought up in Hong Kong, so it is not an easy thing to start from a place as far away from the US and then come to the US and build up a business. So your journey will give us a lot of tips on small businesses, big businesses, and just to be, to be a successful business person.
Oh
Can
yeah,
you?
you brought up a lot of memory. Yeah, born and raised in Hong Kong, came to Los Angeles here in 1996. It's been a while. I lived in LA longer than I live in Hong Kong now, so it's kind of strange sometimes. I in business I think in English, but then when I speak, it's in Cantonese. So I actually started my first business on the day of my honeymoon. I found out that the company that I worked for at the time went out of business. So I just got married, no job. What am I going to do? So I decided to start my first business. The name was the company is Hellman Production. We're
Okay.
actually in the CD and DVD replication business. So we make copies for record labels for film companies in LA. So
Hmm.
we built out that company. My wife became my business partner, and in
Hmm.
2013 we sold the company, and we took 1 year off. And then, along the way, we decided what should we do. Now we don't. We sold the company, so we like the model in promotional product. It's kind of like when you at the old days, you find something that really interesting, and if you offer it to people, they'll actually pay you to buy it. And there's so
Right.
many products that are out there, and I'm a curious person, so I'm always on the lookout to see what's good for this client.
Okay.
And what will be challenging that I can solve with maybe some of the campaign that I can do for the client. So that's keep me engaged, and I like this industry.
Okay. Okay. And then, so from the very beginning, it said the promotional, the promotion part was what you were very keen at observing, and later on you took it up from there.
Yeah, I think so. Because every industry are different, right? What works for the construction industry are different than the insurance industry. Maybe I have customers that have 500 guys on the field working outdoors every day. Then the products that they use are going to be different than if you work in an office building. So we got to be flexible. And then I'm the resource for my client. So if they have a particular challenge or they want to start a campaign, they will come to me for advice, for suggestions. So I'm always on the lookout for unique items out there.
Okay. So how it must be a very challenging task, to cater to clients from different industries. Every industry has a different sort of a client, even for insurance or for any other industry. How do you balance that out?
Well, no one said an entrepreneur journey is easy, right?
Right.
I think you just have to be, you have to stay relevant. For example, you want to be on trends. For example, the talk right now is the Winter Olympics, right? So
Right.
I will pay attention to posts that the athletes might have. So what are trending in apparel, in athletic apparel? What are some
Okay.
of the people wearing? What are some of the athletes using? So that could translate to be, if my client want to get some popular item that is now there right
Okay.
now. So that would
Okay.
be a good area to start. Or if I know that when I see construction worker, these are the type of item that they carry on their work site. So when there are other company that wants to target construction company, then I know that these are the items that they're going to carry with them every day. So it's just paying attention to detail, just as you would, in any industry. The more details, the more fine things you can point out than your competitors, then that's how you can get ahead.
Okay. So the bottom line is that you got to always keep on watching and listening to what your customer wants, what your customer is saying, what your customer feel about your product.
Yeah, that you said it perfectly, Ajay. It's not what you want, right? Yeah,
Right.
I know you own the
Absolutely.
business, but it is not what you want. It's what the customer wants to get out from the experience. So, and customer is always right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, very quickly, Swire, I would like to know, you also try and help businesses, especially small businesses, through your weekly podcast, the Small Business Show. Can you share something about that so that people can also listen to it from India and make learn a lot from there?
Thank you so much, because I made a lot of mistakes, right? So when I first started, there's no LinkedIn Live, there's no help, right? I learned it the hard way. Sometimes you may mistake you in the bad way, then you learn, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. So this time around, I actually wanted to invite those experts, for field that
Mhm.
I don't know. You have to you have to accept that you can't know everything. If you are good in what you do in business, you actually find a better person doing better than what you do to work for
Okay.
you. So
Right.
then I'm finding all this expert to be on my show to share the top strategy, to why did they really good at what they do. So to actually educate the small business community, because it's hard running a small business out there. So my goal is to bring on those experts every week onto the show, which stream on my time, Pacific Standard Time, 10 a.m. every Tuesday morning. So, wanted
Okay.
to have an engaged conversation, ask them really a lot of them my question, right? Why should you do that? Why did you say it that way? How can we do it better? How would you suggest we get started? So hopefully from this conversation, I can give motivation and then also learn a lot myself to how to run a better small business.
Great. Great. And where is this podcast available? How does a person, access to that?
Well, it's all on all the major podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere that you like to listen to a podcast, the Small Business Show. And then if you're on LinkedIn, on YouTube, you can also search for the Small Business Show.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Even I will try and put this information in the description to this to the YouTube description, so that it's easy for them to access. So this is for the viewers. So Swire, it's been a lot of learning. I've noted down, and the target audience, where your customers go to, where your customers stay. Use your logo nicely and diligently, and give value to the customers, and go to HubSpot. There you can find a lot of resource which will help you understand and get to know more about your buyers, about some buyer persona, and also the human part of it. Never forget that. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, well said. I'm on LinkedIn. I love networking. So if any of the listener want to reach out and have more personal discussion, happy to connect with everyone.
Okay, so I'll put that information also in the YouTube description. So on that note, Swire, thank you very much for all the great tips that you have shared. I'm sure it will be very helpful. I have noted them myself, so that I'll learn a bit more and ask better questions as I go along. On
Thank you
that
so much,
note,
Ajay.
on that note, it's a wrap on this edition of the KAJ Masterclass. Thank you very much.